Hey, hello. Welcome to Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, here at the Big Condo Studios. And I got to tell you, I'm really interested in this particular guest that we have today because this particular guest has ties to an old-fashioned TV show, that a lot of you or some of you may be aware of, called The Wombles of Wimbledon and everything. And these characters, these Wombles used to go around cleaning up, picking up litter and all that kind of stuff and repurposing it. But when I looked at the song and an example of the show, it reminded me of the Banana Splits. And then, of course, my guest didn't know who the Banana Splits was. And I was like, okay, it's time for the first slap on the wrist for my guest, Kath Maguire. How you doing, Kath?
Thanks, Chase.
And she is from the Penny Lane Wombles and everything. And can you tell us because there's so many different Wombles out there, but can you tell us about the Wombles as an organization?
Essentially a litter picking group around the Penny Lane area, although we are spreading to quite a lot of Liverpool South area. And we go out mainly individually or with a couple of us and basically pick up litter off the streets where we live, either just your own street, a couple either side, or I live close to Penny Lane, so I will do Penny Lane and around Sefton Park. And we collect litter. We collect the nitrous oxide canisters, the big canisters you see on the floor, the laughing gas, and we will get those recycled. So we're just trying to make the area look nicer for everyone else, because it's driving us mad when you're walking around and just see a mess everywhere. So we just thought we'd do something about it. So that's basically what we do. It's just a load of like-minded people, about 70 of us, going out individually or a few of you at a time. We do big picks every now and again as a group, just trying to make it look nicer for everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk a little bit about those nitrous canisters, because I think there are a lot of people who've seen them because they're prevalent all over the city and everything else like that. But you said something about, like, you're the only group that actually picks these things up, isn't it, to get them repurposed?
I think so. A friend of mine, Vicky, has a group called Litter Clear Volunteer. Slightly different to the Wombles in that she takes old greens and patches of wasteland and old little parks that have gone to rack and ruin or been overgrown or lots of fly tipping. She will get it back to a decent position so that the kids can play back on it, and then hopefully the community will take it back on and keep on top of it so it can be reused as a community asset. So she will collect the nitrous oxide canisters from us, and they'll be degassed, and then she will take them to scrap merchants down here actually and get a rebate for them. So then the money she gets from the recycling, because it's aluminium and copper in them, people don't realise it's actually quite decent to get it weighed in. She will then buy kit for her group, like gardening tools and more litter picking stuff, and reuse it in the community. So we're trying to make something that's actually quite dangerous for the young people, the laughing gas, because it causes nerve damage, damage to your lungs and your insides. We're trying to at least make something positive out of it. So we'll collect it. Yeah, we'll collect it. We will get, this week, I'm doing the figures from Monday to Sunday weekly. We've had over, I think it's about 70 or 80 canisters just from our group.
70 or 80, lying about our
So you get either the little silver bullet ones, or you can get big ones like that. And then you
I haven't actually seen the big ones.
Yeah,
are there big ones lying about as well?
Yeah, they're mainly like a sky blue colour or like a blue colour, and they have like the graphics from Grand Theft Auto on the side of them, a lot of them, or it'll just have whipping cream on the side. So it's meant to be for catering use, but people are getting them delivered in big boxes and using them at parties or sitting off and whatnot.
So I mean, I don't want this turn into a drug program, but I mean, I've just been curious because I know that kids seem to be having access to it. So did they give it delivered, or they buy it, or they steal it, or?
Yeah, you order it online, they get it delivered.
Order online?
Yeah. It's because it's relatively new. I mean, I don't know an awful lot about it. I only know because we're picking it up off the floor, and we're like, what the hell? What's this? Yeah. So when we've looked into it, it is really dangerous. I don't think people realise how bad it is. But you order it off the internet, you get it delivered. They put it in balloons. inhale it. But the problem is as well, they chuck it all on the floor. So when
Yeah.
you're driving past, walking past, cycling past, you'll see these big canisters. They're actually quite hefty. So if you hit it with a bike, you might come off.
Of
Or it
course.
could damage your car when it pops up from your tyre. So we were trying to work out what to do with them whilst collecting. And then we realised we can degas them and get them weighed in. So at least some good can come from it.
Now, I mean, that's just crazy. But there's also a thing where one of the tasks that you have assigned yourselves is to report fly tipping.
Yeah.
Now, we've all seen the signs of don't fly tip, no fly tipping. But with now conversation, this is not just about normal fly tipping. You were telling me a story about industrial fly tipping.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the story again?
See, you'll get that down the docks here. You'll get like a low loader or just a normal truck or a classic white van, and they will just pull up, open the doors, drive slowly, and someone on the back will just be shifting it all out onto the road. Just anything from like a house clearance, fridge, freezers, sofas, literally anything. So if you advertise for waste removal services and you're looking at, I need to get my house cleared. Someone's died, need to empty the house.
Yeah.
They should have a permit to take it to the recycling because that will all get recycled by the council. But obviously that costs money. So some of the less scrupulous ones will come and take all your stuff, say they're going to recycle it and take it to the place, and they will just dump it. They'll dump it down here where there might not be some cameras, or they'll dump it further out of the city, down country lanes. And then it gets into the streams, it clogs up the water.
We already have the
paths.
plastic and the water
Exactly.
problem going on.
Yeah. But people don't realise, they won't stay at fly tipping, but you will get people sitting at the side of the park eating the Mackies or the takeaways and just open the doors and dump it at the side. That's just another fly tipping, just not on a bigger scale. But it's a massive problem. The council spend a lot of money cleaning it up, but it can all be recycled. It's a source of frustration because it's time consuming for them when they could be spending the time doing something else. So
I mean, this is kind of like, the thing about what would you do in your own house, right? It's like, I mean, we're here in Liverpool, as you know, with being Liverpool Community Podcast, and we have a strong problem here, like, with at night, people come out of the clubs, Madame Mackey's is open to like, all night, and or the lobster pot, and we have a strong trash problem, don't we?
yeah, we do.
Where people they just drop their food everywhere and stuff, and expecting someone is going to come along and clean it. Thankfully, we do have a great cleaning service in Liverpool that does seem to clear it away before people go to work in the morning. But if you actually are out at 4 in the morning, you can see the horrendous attitude of people to just kind of like leave things lying about.
Yeah,
And I mean, you must have come across that in all the various different areas.
it's
of
the
just seeing
same.
trash lying
Yeah,
about.
it's all over the city. There is not a shortage of bins around Liverpool. There are loads of places you can get rid of your waste. You don't have to chuck it on the floor, but you've got to change people's attitudes to why throw it on. You throw it on the floor, but there's a bin like 10 paces away. And if you put it in a litter bin, the council will recycle it all. So it's not just going to go into landfill, they'll recycle it. It's frustrating. It shouldn't be for someone else to collect. Just put it in the bin yourself. I just don't see why they drop it. I don't know about you, but my mum, when she's doing the washing and everything when you're a kid, she'd constantly be emptying the pockets of sweet wrappers and all that. And your coat, they'd be like, right, take your coat off, empty the pockets, because you just wouldn't dream of dropping it on the floor. But I don't know if that's changed now.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't just have something to eat and throw it. Put it in
No.
the bin. But people seem to do that.
No, it is an attitude change, but thankfully, it seems like even though you guys have only started this, maybe like you said, since May last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like really that you and Penny Lane started it. There were other Wombles out there, but now there are more Wombles just
Yeah.
spreading. So,
Yeah.
you gave me various different areas from Crescent to Speak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people are getting inspired, what you're saying?
Well, yeah, so I looked at Wirral Wombles. They were quite a big group. I think they started it at like the beginning of one of the lockdowns when people were spending more time out walking in the fresh air because you could have your hours daily walk, and they were meeting up and wanting to do something productive. So they started doing their list picking. And they've got a lot of beaches as well, and the amount of plastic is incredible. and a lot of open spaces. So they were attacking those areas, litter picking what they could, and they've become a massive group. So I'd heard of those, and then my boss called my bluff. I was like, here you go, because he's on the Wirral. I've got a spare litter picker, go out and do it. So it's like people wanted these groups to happen. They just needed someone to sort of coordinate things. So I started litter picking late in the evening because I didn't want people to see me. Mm-hmm. It's not the coolest thing. No, I'd say it is now. And then I met a friend of mine, Kate. I wasn't friends with her then. I'm friends with her now through litter picking. She was like, I don't care who sees me. I want everyone to see me because I want them to realise it's me picking it up. Stop doing it or get involved and pick it up yourself.
Yeah.
And then more people saw Kate and I litter picking down Queen's Drive by Liverpool College. And people would beat the horn or stop and chat to you. You'd get carfuls of scallies beeping the horn at you, going, "Oh, nice one, miss." And, like, people are really into it and they want to see you doing something good. And then because people see you doing it, they realise they can do it. Oh, I've got myself a litter picker, and it just spread. And people stop and chat to you and ask what you're doing, and it spread and spread and spread. And so when you're saying about the other groups, Cressington Wombles was set up by Peter, who was part of our group. He was litter picking a little bit on his own. It gets a bit disheartening. You can't do everything on your own. You realise a lot of people can make a really big difference, or a few of you together can make a really big difference. So he set up a group in Cressington, helped by a lady, Jane, who runs a scout group. So she gets the scouts out, and they've done their environment badge as well. They just
they get a Blue Peter badge. You said.
Yeah, so the kids in our group have got Blue Peter badges for litter picking, which they love, to encourage them. And then Janet is trying to set up Speak Wombles. Lark Lane have just set up their group as well. Egbert Vale have just set up a little group, but they're still going to be part of us. So because they've seen what we can do, and when you're walking around Penny Lane, Alton Road, Smithdown, it just looks nicer. People are happier. You don't want to be surrounded by mess. It's depressing looking at mess. We can make it look nicer, and people are buying into it and enjoying it. And I think they remember what it was like at the beginning of last year. Penny Lane was disgusting. It's a tourist hotspot. If that was London, it would never look like that.
Yeah.
So why put up with it? They're getting off the bus and looking at this mess on the floor, and I'm embarrassed. So I don't want people to see that.
I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying. It wasn't like one of the inspirationals, but it was one of the things that you see. Like we go to Sefton Park. We love going to Sefton Park. Africa Oye. When the concert's on. And, you got all the picnics out and everything. But then when the party's over, people were leaving their stuff behind as opposed to taking it away.
Yeah, I mean, Africa Oye is quite different because they're responsible group. That's like a slick machine. They're great.
Yeah, it's just an example.
So people are more responsible and more respectful when they're at Africa Oye, weirdly. But when in the summer you get groups of people using the park, they will literally just get up and leave their picnic. They will leave their cool bags. They will leave all their stuff, and you're like, hang on, you've come to the park because we make it look nice because we keep it in a really good state. The volunteers at I don't know if it's called I Love Sefton Park or Friends of Sefton Park. They are amazing, and they do frequent litter picks. So people come because it looks nice, but then you get up and leave your stuff. It don't make any sense.
No.
Who do they think's gonna shift it? So, and all the wildlife, they get in the cans, they get things stuck on them. It's not cool.
I think you gave a great tagline where you said you should have pride where you live.
Yeah, you hear all these things about people being proud that they're from Liverpool. Well, you need to put your money where your mouth is and make it look nice. No one's going to do it for you.
Well, that's what you're expecting.
Yeah, well,
somebody's gonna do it.
Yeah, they always think it's someone else's problem. They'll drive past and go, "Oh, look at that, it's disgusting," but they won't sort it. Whereas we'll drive past and we'll message each other in our group, going, "Oh, I've just seen this horrendous. I don't know. There's been like a party in like the edge of Sefton Park. Oh, they've left all the stuff. Let's go and sort it. And we can do it in 10 minutes."
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's great about this is that like your organization or a group of people growing and growing. But it's mainly made up of volunteers. Everyone's a volunteer.
Everyone's
yourself.
a volunteer, yeah.
That means people are either part-time workers or full-time workers like yourself. But then again, it is the fact that like, if the people have often offered you guys money, and usually you weren't thinking too much about it as a business, but now you're starting to change your mind on that.
Yeah, I think people are offering us money and saying that we can apply for grants and things, and we'd be a shoe-in because of what we're doing to get some money. So it wasn't something I really wanted to do, but because the group's got so much bigger and evolved, and it's just gathered so much momentum and pace, and people really want the group. Mm-hmm. So we can do more things, silly things like you get a normal size litter picker, you can get a really big litter picker. So if you want to get deeper into a bush or you can't reach something, a longer one would be really good. They're a little bit more expensive. We can buy things like that. Just some easier kit. Like I walk around with a pair of secateurs in my pocket when something, like a branch hits me in the face. Well, it could really hurt someone, so I'll like trim it back, whatever. Just things like that. We can do more stuff, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it also is just the fact that like, it becomes more of a social enterprise as well, because you were telling me about how you're making friends and people are like making connections with others.
Yeah, it's
especially like when you talked about the older people in the group as well.
Yeah, well, different age. It isn't just the older people in the group though. It's such a broad range of ages and different backgrounds and different occupations and different circumstances. But nobody in the group really knew each other before we started the group up. But what you find is they've all got the same common theme, that they don't want to live surrounded by mess. They want to make a positive change. And you can make a small patch look that was disgusting and litter exploded everywhere. You can make it look really nice in 5 minutes. Everyone really enjoys it. So what we find is it works by, I've got a free half an hour, I'm just going to whiz out and do Penny Lane, I'll do that. Or I'll send a message in the group and say, does anybody want to do a little litter pick, and then we'll go for a beer or we'll go for a coffee. Or there's a place, we refer to it as the Bush of Doom. Everything is the bus stop of doom or the bush of doom or something.
The bush of doom?
Dun, 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 yeah. So it's opposite the Handyman pub on Smithdown Road.
I actually know that place.
Yeah, the Handyman's a cool pub. But the bush across, because of the direction of the wind, it blows all the litter and gathers underneath it.
Wow.
So we walk past it and it drives you mad. We send a message, right, who wants to tackle the bush of doom? So 4 of them are going to do it when we have our next big litter pick, and then probably go for a beer afterwards. And that's how it works. So it's like a social thing. People have met. I feel more connected with the area that you would never have crossed paths before. And when you're walking around doing your litter picking, people stop and chat to you, and then you meet more people. They get involved. Or classic, you can't walk around L18 and not bump into someone you don't know from Wombles. They'll drive past you, beat the horn, and send you a message. I've just seen you. Or we get stopped and someone goes, are you a Womble? And we're like, who's asking?
That's why you need some type of signage, and everything like that.
Oh, so are you on community service? No, we're not on community service. We do this because we want to.
Yeah, I mean, like, but also too is, you also get free food sometimes.
Yeah, so the independent support.
Hey, I'm only thinking about the free food, but okay.
Chase, you're welcome to come. The independents really support us. We have problems with big business as the Tesco's. Sainsbury's have supported us. They're cool. The others won't look after the front of their premises at all. As the Smithdown is disgusting. Tesco's Alton Road, disgusting. Tesco's Mather Avenue, again, disgusting. But they won't get involved. We emailed them, trying to ask them to clean things up. It's really difficult. Whereas the independents, because they can see what we're doing, and they'll see us out the shop. They come out. Purple Carrot give us cake. So a slower space, I think it's a slower space or a slower pace. They give us coffees. Desserts by Dre give us free cakes. Bean there give us brews. Because they can see
you don't let it go to waste, because you're involved with other different organizations, so you share it. So like with the park run.
So the last big litter pick, Desserts by Dre, gave us a big tray of blondies and a big tray of brownies. But there was that many of them, we couldn't eat them all. Although we gave it a good go.
Yeah, you gave it a shot.
Yeah. I'm not frightened of eating. So a lot of us will volunteer at Junior Park Run in the Mystery Park. Every Sunday, 9 o'clock, 2K run, free for kids between ages 4 and 11. It's brilliant, really good fun. So a lot of us volunteer there as well. So I took the blondies and brownies down there, and we finished them off there. So it's just nice to be nice. It's cool.
Nice to be nice.
There's a Pips Cafe on Walton Road. They will give you free brews if you're litter picking outside. There's the watering can. the wheelbarrow, because you just make it look nice for people.
And I mean, it's just community pride at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So when I was asking you about things that you had coming up, you have. I mean, by the time this program airs, you would have done like a group litter pick. But you said you're going to be probably doing it like twice monthly or
bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly.
So we're going to do the last Saturday of every other month. So it'll be January, March, May, because it's just quite difficult to organise. Not difficult, it's quite time consuming. And our group runs by people going out and do little quick hits. But yeah, we will do a big litter pick we're doing one at the end of January, end of March, starting from Penny Lane Development Trust between 11 and 12. So it's only an hour. We can get an awful lot done in an hour. And it's an opportunity for people to get together, meet the neighbours, have a brew, make a little bit of a difference. Students are involved as well. The Greenbank Student Village, they'll help out. People,
like
they seem to get the blame for everything.
What is it? The Carnegie Hall?
Oh, it used to be.
Houses?
I think it's called something else now. But yeah, people blame the students for all the mess in the city. You can't pin it all on them. It's just as much the actual residents who are here all year round. It's just as much their responsibility. But the students actually get involved with the litter picking as well. So they're not the enemy. People need to make friends with them. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But I'd say, don't think you have to litter pick loads and loads and loads and get a massive bag. That you don't have to. You can just do your street. Just go out and tidy up and watch your street. And if everyone just did their street, it would be amazing. So people will litter pick on doing the school run and just get like a little bag for life and just pick up odds and ends off the floor, and that's enough. So it's just little and often. It doesn't have to be these massive going out for a couple of hours. You can just do every now and again. So,
I think obviously it's like when people look at the litter, that's what their thinking is, but they don't realize if they're a part of a pack and that pack is growing, then you only just a cog in that wheel. And so you don't end up picking up a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of people litter picking who aren't actually part of our group as well, who will stop and chat to you and say, I do where I am, and I do like where I live, because you get quite a few tourists coming from around Merseyside actually coming into Liverpool. And they will litter pick too.
Yeah, that's why you need a costume or some kind of signage and everything. I want to be a Womble.
So Amanda, she used to dress up as a Womble at Halloween when she was a kid.
A Womble at Wimbledon?
So it was like it was always meant to be full-on costume. Yeah,
well, I think it's cute. So, I mean, can you tell me what type of person becomes a Womble?
An amazing
just a person who's socially minded, or
no, just if you're fed up and you want to make a difference, you don't just do something about it. Just don't sit there moaning. Just go out and do it. It's all different ages, from the kids right up to retired people, all different occupations, backgrounds. With anyone who just wants to make a difference. I think people are just so fed up with all the bad news and everything so awful at the moment. It can be overwhelming. You don't realise you can actually do something about it yourself. And if there's a couple of you doing it, many hands make light work, isn't it? If you get together, it doesn't seem as overwhelming. You can change, you can make it better. So.
I mean, lastly, like there was one of those stories that I thought was horrendous that you shared, about, again, it's about the attitude of people with no respect. Where it's like these kids set fire to a kids' play area.
Yeah, so where the Mystery Junior Park Run is on a Sunday, it's in the Mystery Park, and there's a kids' play area. And Mark, who sets up the event, puts all the cones out and the signs, he will pick a big bag of litter every Sunday before the kids turn up. A lot of it is off the kids' play area, broken glass and just litter and mess and beer bottles, because people have been in there on Saturday evening drinking and smashing glass, and they've set fire to some of the kids' equipment as well. So he will try and clear that up before the kids turn up at 9, so then when they finish the race they can play. Because otherwise they'd be playing and they could cut themselves and hurt themselves. But it's just mindless who was ever doing it on the Saturday evening. They're obviously having a good time and don't realise the consequences. But it's a kids' play area. It's not cool to set fire to it or break it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was the thing that really hit me hard and stuff like that. But you did, asked, like, when it comes to beautification, you did ask the council about, painting benches and bins and stuff, and they said no. And
Well,
then you said, well,
well, the thing is with the council, they haven't got any money. They haven't really got any funds and the time. And if you think about the amount of fly tipping and everything else that's going on, they're involved in doing all that. Think of how many benches are around the parks, and it's difficult for them. I understand their limitations. So we
did it anyway.
Well, potentially we might have done some of the benches ourselves. So yeah,
It's not like they're coming after you, you know.
No, there's a guy in who is kind of like drifts between my group and Litter Clear Volunteer, my friend Vicky's group, and he is like a renegade bench painter. He's got like a handheld sander. He will sand the benches down, quick lick of paint. I think he's done it with his sister and one of his friends, and in this like half an hour, he makes the bench look reasonable again. And if you don't stain the wood properly, it rots. So he will do that and tidy things up and get rid of graffiti. He's brilliant at doing that. So.
Oh, be careful, Banksy. They might come after you.
It's funny, but it's not funny. It's frustrating. So he's done quite a lot of the benches in Sefton Park, which is great, and the paint gets gifted to them from the Sefton Park Friends of group and also Litter Clear Volunteer. But somebody at the moment is spray painting anti-Tory graffiti on the benches, and we're like, "Oh, come on!
Yeah.
That's
Leave
not
your
an issue in this.
at home.
Yeah, but that's not an issue in this city.
Yeah.
You'll not get many Tory voters in Sefton Park. What are you doing?
You're on the south side, you know.
Exactly. So it's frustrating. So you picked the wrong city for that, mate. Do it somewhere else. So yeah.
But then I think you said you hope to tackle the bins next.
Yeah, so the bins are my bugbear. It's a bit of when we've litter picked and we'll go to the pub with some of the other litter pickers, because you need a reward after you litter pick, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, what's your top three bins? Like I do have top three bins. So
what's your top three bins?
So my favourite bin is on the corner of Smithdown Road and Grant Avenue.
That's very specific.
It is, yeah. That's my number one. My second favourite is where the Needle is in Sefton Park. There's like a double bin on the right hand side. That's a nice new one. Yeah. Oh, so my third one is behind the Dovedale pub. It's quite discreet and it's never full, and I like to stick my bag of rubbish on there. So, but basically, the bins.
You know what? Let's do this, people. So down below, you can comment, right, when you see this show. And go ho ho ho! 3 favorite bins. My favorite bin is the one that's behind the garage. No. But still,
come on, Chase. You must have a favorite bin.
My favorite bin is my bin shed. And tosses and everything like that. And I love that bin shed. But
no, the bins. When you look at them, we're doing all this litter picking. I mean. Prince's Park, the Friends of Prince's Park group are brilliant. The park is amazing. I prefer it to Sefton Park. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
They're doing really, really good things in there. But so it's all right, those litter picking. But when you look at a lot of the bins, they're disgusting. They're old and rusty. They're dirty. They need a lick of paint. We're not going to get them replaced because of the lack of funding. So why can't we scrub them down and paint them?
Yeah.
Why can't we do that? I don't think the council will have any objections to us doing it. We're not destroying anything. We're just trying to make it look nicer. So I reckon it'd probably take, I don't know, maybe an hour to do it. Stick a sign in it saying wet paint and everyone will be happy with it. So I kind of want to do something like that. The bins in the Mystery Park, again, are really old and ropey. The park's beautiful. We spend so much time in there litter picking and doing junior park run. They deserve. It just looks so much nicer. And we could sort it, basically. So we're probably going to do it.
In my opinion, I think you should just go around and tagging it with a W. Like for me, that'd be like for the Warriors, but then for you, it'd be for the Wombles. You know what I mean? But I got to tell you, this has been a very fascinating conversation and everything, and I'm hoping that people learned a little bit about who those secret recyclers out there are. The Wombles without masks. And here's a lovely one, Kath Maguire, the one who is leading the charge behind it all and everything. And but obviously she's very thankful for all the others who lead their own little Womble packs.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing really good things. You don't realise until you start doing this. the will is there. I think it just needed a little bit of organisation for us.
But they need people like yourself as well.
You do need someone to drive it, but I'm really lucky. The group now, it kind of runs itself. People know what they're doing. They know how to organise themselves and stuff. It doesn't really need much looking after anymore, and it's growing and spreading, and that's really cool. So I suppose if people are just thinking, I've never gone out litter picking, just go out and do it. Litter picker, you can get them online or in one of your local shops. They have them now. Under a £5, the plastic bags, your local ward councillor or officer will give you them if you want them, or use a bag for life. And just see how you get on. I mean, obviously be careful and put your gloves on and be mindful of sharps and stuff, but you'd be surprised at how satisfying and addictive it is. Everyone who starts litter picking, it's like, oh my, I can't stop. I just see mess everywhere. And it's really heartwarming that you can make these simple changes. You can make a really, really big difference for everyone else. And
I've done something today.
Yeah. So if you drive around South Liverpool and you see a clear plastic bag on top of a bin, it might have like a round sticker on it with Penny Lane Wombles on it, or it might not if we've run out. But 9 times out of 10, those bags on the bins, the clear bags, that will be Penny Lane Wombles. So when you're driving around and you see them, it's like, oh, that's cool, that's us. And it makes you smile and people recognise it.
Yeah.
And the council are brilliant. They will come and shift our bags really quickly because we have a really good relationship with them. So when you're driving around and you see it, we all message each other, I saw your bin, and I saw your bag on my favourite bin. Or people will post pictures on our Facebook group, and I'm like, I recognise that bin. I'm such a loser. I pretty much know all the bins. I'm like, is that the bin on there, Rose Lane? Oh, yes, it is.
Kath definitely knows all the bins.
But yeah, it's just, if people were thinking about doing it, just go and do it.
Yeah. Well, how can people find you or find your group or anything?
So you can find us on Facebook, Penny Lane Wombles. It's a private group because if you don't litter pick within 3 months, we kick you out.
Oh, check that out.
Yeah, but we want people who do stuff. We don't just do it for likes. We want people who are active.
Hey, I wanted to do it for the food, but that's all right.
Just about the food.
But you can find us on Instagram and Twitter, again, Penny Lane Wombles, and see what we're up to. And if anybody wants any advice on how to set up their own group, get in touch. It's a little bit of legwork at the beginning, but then, like I say, it runs itself. But the group wouldn't run without all the brilliant people that are part of it. They are amazing. And if you follow us if you don't want to litter pick, but follow us on social media, we're constantly updating what people are doing, and you'll see.
And you advertise them when you're having those big.
Yeah, we do. We advertise when we have the big litter picks as well, and we'll advertise on behalf of other litter picking groups too. So there's always something going on, but you'll see how many people are involved and enjoying it. And nobody got a gun to your head and making you go out litter picking. If you don't like it, don't do it. There's other ways to support us. But you'll find once you start doing it, you will actually get into it and enjoy it. So if you're out walking your dog, pick up a few bits and pieces. You can do it. All those little things will make a massive difference. Stops it going and blocking up a grid and flooding. And it's easy.
I just want to say, hopefully we did not shame you because we didn't name you. So you know who you are. That be dropping that stuff and everything like that. But hopefully learning a little bit about what people such as Kath and her group are doing, it'll make people stop and think about, man, that bin is only over there and stuff, and drop it in the bin. So that's what we'll say, isn't it, Kath? Drop it in the bin.
Yep, one of my favourite ones.
One of her favorite ones. Oh, my God. Anyway.
What's happened to me?
Thank you, Kath Maguire.
Thank you.
From the Penny Lane Wombles. This has been really interesting. Now, we wanted to play the Wimbledon song, but we're afraid of copyright. So, either way. But because Phil is a singer, we could always call it the karaoke version. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. You've been listening to and watching the Liverpool Community Podcast and everything. And thank you once again.
Thank you.
And we out of here.